Hello, my friends out there in YouTube land. It is your good buddy Philtastic Phil here, and I'm welcoming you back to my channel for part 2, which is days 11 through 20. Disregard the upcoming sign. Days 11 through 20 of Batober. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, welcome. Just in case you forgot exactly what the Batober 2021 challenge is, I encourage you to check out my past videos on it, including this first one with this image of me, kind of sort of with a Batman cape over me, or cowl over me, I should say. I'll put a link, but here's what it looks like, just in case you look at the visual. So Batober is a celebration of Batman all through October. There's a prompt every single day, and it's the artist's job, in this case me, to go ahead and create a picture based on that. If you haven't seen days 1 to 10 or part 1 of this series, I encourage you to go ahead and do so. I'll put a link in the description of this video, but this is what it looks like. Again, just my logo with the bat symbol, of course, flying above it. Now, in case you don't know, I did set some rules for myself. Rule number 1, absolutely no use of the bat symbol. That's right. No skylight or anything like that. Jim is really shocked about that. Rule 2, only use each character only once. That's right. No 3 jokers here. Just one, and he looks pretty freaked out. Rule 3, no use of violence or weapons, which Deathstroke is a little surprised by as well, but it looks like he's going to a birthday party. And the most controversial rule, the one that's a big head shaker for most, or head scratcher I should say, absolutely, positively, no use of Batman. Yeah, even Clark is shocked by that one. Oh well, that's enough with the rules. Let me go ahead and show you days 11 through 20, starting now. Yeah, I'll say this from this particular batch of pictures. I found that I gravitated more towards Batman and other forms of media. For example, our first word is imposing. And here I have one of these big giant statues. Now this is actually a drawing of the statues that you might remember from Gotham in the Tim Burton Batman films, specifically Batman Returns. I just felt like the Tim Burton movies in terms of how Gotham looked and felt. He did a very, very good job of just making it, making the city just feel like a very foreboding and a very kind of like a seedy underbelly type of thing, almost like it was another character within the movie. And that's what I really tried to capture in this picture, this giant statue, and it's very imposing, hence the word. The word for day 12 is tunnel. Now, I should tell you, if you haven't realized it already, I'm not trying to go with a literal translation or something I figured everybody would be doing. And I figured when people had the word tunnel, they were going to show something like Batman crawling out of the pit, like in that last of the Nolan Batman films, or maybe a prison escape. I did something like that already, though. So when I thought of tunnel, I thought of the classic 80s video arcade machine Dig Dug. And I thought, that might be a little fun to add in here. So here I have Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, playing a game of Dig Dug here. I thought it was well done. I like how it came out. I really like the effect they did on her hair, and I think it kept that lighthearted quality I was going for. This next one, I have to warn you, I didn't really achieve the lightheartedness I was looking at, and I'll tell you why. So the word was library, not to be confused with the word library, as some people say. No, that's library. Say it with me now. Okay. So anyway, for library, I thought, okay, how can I do an interesting take on this? So I had Victor Zsasz, the psychopath who scratches a scar in his skin every time he kills somebody, in Gotham prison, more specifically in the prison library, crying. And I thought, hey, this is going to be really funny if you look at what he's reading, but a lot of people didn't. And that's a lesson I had to learn, is that my message was kind of missed here. And when I point out to people, hey, zero in on the title of his book, you'll see exactly what I meant. That's right, Victor Zsasz is crying as he's reading The Notebook. Poor Victor. For day 14, I thought I would do something a little bit different. I really wanted to try to break that fourth wall. And the word was slug. So I figured there'd be people putting garden slugs. And yeah, I think it was Keith Browning art, who I highly recommend, great artist, had poison ivy in a garden with a slug. Slug isn't hit. I saw a couple people do that, somebody just punching somebody. So I was like, I really want to do something unique. And I remembered that there's a Spider-Man villain. I think he was introduced in the 80s in this issue here of the Web of Spider-Man annual called the Slug, or just Slug. And I thought, wouldn't it be kind of funny if we had a Batman villain looking for inspiration for a crime or something by reading a comic? So here we have Riddler reading that Web of Spider-Man annual with the first appearance of the Slug, and of course I put my trademark little logo on the back of the book, almost to make it like a variant like you see from Unknown Comics, for example. All in all, I really liked this one. It really kind of, I think, caught the lightheartedness I was really going for. So for day 15, I went to the Batman the Animated Series opening for inspiration. The word is atmosphere. Now, when I thought of atmosphere at first, I know a lot of people think of space. And to be honest with you, space was a word that was in last year's challenge, and one of my favorite pieces I did, which was Batman looking at Earth from the Justice League Watchtower. I had done that for space, so I didn't want to duplicate that. So I was thinking more, atmosphere doesn't just mean, outer space. It means the feeling in the room and whatnot. And I thought, you know what? The strongest kind of impact on me, just the mood itself, when watching or reading Batman, I have to say, was the opening credits to the Batman animated series. You have those, the Warner Brothers seal, and the picture just kind of darkens into those police zeppelins going through Gotham just before the criminals kind of rear their ugly heads, and you've got the music just getting very quiet and then just exploding into action. And I think I really did a good job kind of catching the first few seconds of the opening, and to be honest with you, overall I thought it worked really, really well. So now we're at the public access PBS segment, the halfway point here, where I'm going to invite you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. It doesn't cost you anything, but if you do want to throw me some money, hey, I'm not going to turn you down. In fact, if you like any of the artwork you see today, which of course go ahead and comment on it here, but if you like it so much that you want it for your home, just let me know. I'll put my contact details in the description of this video, and we'll work something out. All right, back to the pictures. So the word for day 16 was mechanic. And I didn't want to do something like a guy just working on a car or a picture of the Batmobile broken on the side of the road. So I went a different way, and I'll explain in a moment. But here we have Jason Todd, the Red Hood, and you can see he's got his Red Hood helmet on the top shelf there with some stereo equipment. This is a little bit of a salute to one of my favorite films, High Fidelity, which I recommend that you check out. Not sponsored, but it's a great flick. I think it's on Netflix. If it's not on Netflix, it's on Prime. If it's not on Prime, it's on Hulu. I think they just kind of toss it around a little bit. But if you look right by his knee, you'll notice very small, well, not too small, let's say, there's an album. And that is an album cover from Mike and the Mechanics. It's an 80s band who, I guess they had a couple of hits. I wouldn't be able to tell you them off the top of my head. The only one I can know of is All I Need Is a Miracle, only because that's what I used in the Instagram post. Here's a detail shot of that album cover, just in case you're curious. Day 17, the word was detective, and I went right back to Batman the Animated Series for that. Everybody knows Batman is possibly comics' greatest detective. I mean, look, his whole publishing line, the publisher, DC Comics, Detective Comics, is kind of named after him, I guess. But I went to the guy who I think of in Batman when I keep thinking of detective, and that's Detective Harvey Bullock. And this was just kind of a simple picture. He looks like he's pissed off. He's got a lit cigarette. Just how I remember him in the animated series, really. I was happy I got to work on this one. For day 18, the word was glide, and I went to a different animated series. Now, as I said in the past, I'm not a huge cartoon guy or animation guy, but I have checked out the Harley Quinn series on HBO Max, and I have to say I loved it. And if you know Harley Quinn, if you've watched the series, then you know this guy, Kite Man. That's right, Kite Man. And when I saw Glide on the list, this was the first thing I thought of. So overall, I just have Kite Man flying over Gotham here, and I pulled off, I still don't know how I did it to be honest with you, but I pulled off this really cool effect here that kind of makes the city shimmer. And I was just really looking for a way to help break up the black and white space a little bit. But all in all, I think it works well. I wish I shaded Kite Man a little bit more, particularly around the shoulders. But you know what? I'm my own biggest critic. As any artist will tell you, they're probably their own biggest critic, to be honest with you. Day 19, I have to say, is one of my favorite works. One of the works I'm most pleased with so far in this year's Batober 2021 challenge. Maybe even more so than the Bane Tiki mug. I'm not quite sure yet. Check that out if you haven't yet. It's in that first video that I talked about a little bit earlier. And of course, let me know if you agree with me or not. Do you like Bane's Tiki mug I did better, or do you like this one better? So the word is smoochin', as in kissing, or for slang for somebody who mooches, but I went with kissing anyway. Now, I figured I would see a lot of people just having like full-on makeout sessions for their drawings. I figured I'd see a lot of Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy's. I didn't see that, to be honest with you. I thought Keith Browning had a very good ventriloquist one, and Chris Samney's Batman and Catwoman, I have to say, was masterful. But again, I went a different route because that's what I do. So in the back, I've depicted Picasso's classic painting, The Kiss. And when I put it up in black and white, it reminded me, of course, of Two-Face, Harvey Dent. So here I have Harvey Dent, Two-Face, just kind of hiding in the shadows, and you can't see his human side. You can only see the burnt-up, charred Two-Face side. And I think the black and white, to be honest with you, makes it look super scary. Like I said, I'm really pleased how this one came out. It is, so far, one of my favorites of this entire challenge. Again, tell me what you think. And day 20 gave us the word roses. And for this, I have to tell you, I give credit to my beautiful wife for inspiring me here. See, every Tuesday now it used to be Monday, she likes to watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, whatever, I think they go back and forth here. And she happened to have The Bachelorette on while I was trying to think of something to do. I didn't want to do something heavy like Crime Alley, showing Batman's parents' death spot where he puts the rose every year. And again, I didn't want to go back to a Poison Ivy piece, but I'll have her pop up presumably in the next 11 days or so. So I thought it'd be funny if I put Killer Croc, one of the most disgusting and terrifying looking characters, in a situation like this here. So in my picture, the Killer Croc that we know, Waylon, of course, is one of the eligible bachelors on the season of The Bachelorette, or some season of Bachelorette. And it looks like he's winning. He's advancing to the next round. And The Bachelorette, and I've never really included text like this, like a word balloon, in a picture, but I thought it was fitting here, saying, Waylon, will you accept this rose? As the other bachelors stand in the wings in the background, just saying, what's going on here? What is she thinking? Very fun piece. I enjoyed it very much. So part 2 of Battober 2021 is at an end, and we're on to part 3 now, which I'll be airing on Halloween, which will be days 21 through 31. If you aren't doing so already, please go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Philtastic Comics and Art, and you can see the pictures as I put them up, and watch my Instagram stories as well, because I like to include actual music in it, not just this freebie music, the copyright-free music. If I used the music I wanted to, I'd have a bunch of copyright infringements from YouTube. And of course, you can feel free to look around, see if there's any other drawings or paintings or whatnot that I've done that you'd like, and if you'd like, hey, I could make something for you. Yes, you can commission me. Just message me on Instagram and we'll work something out. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate you checking this video out. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.